I'm a Black American woman in the United States, Black or African American. And in the United States, especially among Black people or people of color, we talk about ways in which we have been oppressed, and rightfully so. There are lots of examples of oppression. However, we don't necessarily always talk about ways in which we become oppressors. My name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed psychotherapist in California. And I work with domestic violence victims as well as victims of narcissistic abuse, as well as perpetrators of violence. And I've worked many years in the, criminal justice or forensic systems, both in court and corrections and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I have frequently encountered of victims, specifically women who are victims of domestic violence, is whenever the perpetrator of violence is a Black man or a brown man, Black or Hispanic is typically what I've worked with before. They do not contact the police when their partner beats them. So if a woman, it doesn't matter what the race is, because I've worked with women who are white, Hispanic, Asian, Black, who have been in domestic violence partnerships with Black or brown men, and they won't call the police because they are concerned with protecting their partner's well-being. Specifically, they don't want their partner. They don't want to jeopardize their partner losing resources. So, like a job or things like that. Specifically, especially if their partner has what is deemed to be a good job. So, they'll say, "Well, I don't want to call the police because I don't want to be the reason that my partner lost his job." Or the second thing is, and this is really big, I would say this is actually more frequent than the first one, is that they don't want to take the risk of, their partner being brutalized by the police. So what they'll say is something like, "Oh, well, we've seen Black men being killed and, going through all this stuff with the police on television, and so that's very real, and I don't want to be the cause of something happening to my partner, the police brutalizing or killing my partner because my partner was violent against me." And it's interesting because, one, these women are putting the well-being of their partners before themselves and their families, so kids, things like that. And they're oftentimes incurring more abuse because of it. And these are situations that get extremely violent and life-threatening. There could be weapons involved, and they still will not call the police. And this is very real. This is something I've testified about in court. And so oftentimes they'll stay stuck in that relationship due to societal pressure, or what's considered to be societal pressure to, stop police brutality against Black and brown men, or under like the perceived pressure from family and community from, "Oh, you just took away a person's job, and all because of what, you're a hater, you're this, you're that." And I'm here to tell you and here to advocate and say, if a person ever threatens your life or puts your life in danger or puts their hands on you, I do advocate for women to protect themselves by any means necessary. So, calling the police, getting protective orders. If a person gets into trouble because of how they have harmed you, that is not your problem. And I know that may sound really harsh to people that are going through violent situations, but I cannot emphasize this enough. There are men and women, but I'm talking in this situation about heterosexual relationships where men are the perpetrators of violence. There are situations where these men will take your life. They will take your life. And I think that any woman who's going through that, should definitely work with a counselor if you're able to do that. If you're not, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and speak to a counselor about that. But anything that you can do, some initial steps to start empowering. But if there's ever a situation where your life is on the line, but also too, if you're enduring if you're enduring any amount of violence, is what I'm trying to say, I think you should contact the police, and that person does need to suffer the consequences. That's all for now.